Hello, my name is Roshni Shah, and I am a nurse based in Chicago. And tonight I'm performing at the Nocturnists Taking Care event. Caretaking is more than just the physical act of, completing a task. It's also being there for the emotional and mental journey and support that it requires. And caretaking takes a toll on caretaking for yourself. So I think it's a really fine line between giving and receiving. I hope the audience feels transported to wherever my story takes them. And I hope they feel all of the emotions, laughter, sadness, frustration, and just really feel like they can resonate with that story in their own lives in some way. I pull into my driveway, windows down, music blasting Bollywood, nose dripping, but despite the cold Chicago air, I can barely keep my eyes open. All I can think about right now is going to sleep. It's as if the medications I've been giving my patients overnight in the ICU has somehow gotten into my own bloodstream. All I can hear in my skull is the sound of bed alarms and patients' cries. I am so exhausted. As I turn the car off and walk towards the door, I realize my reality is quite different. Between me and my bed lies one more nursing task. I have to give my mom a bath. I open the door, and it's utter chaos. My dad in the living room watching Fox News, shouting at my mom across the house while she's in the kitchen. The sound of Donald Trump screeching, mixing in with my mom's spiritual music, permeates the house. My mom's not quite used to using her walker yet, so she just has it kind of sitting there in the kitchen, and she uses it to pivot from the fridge to the stove and back, grabbing fresh ginger and cardamom and nutmeg for her morning cha, and grabs a handful of onions and mustard seeds, and she throws it into hot onion. And as it sputters, all these smells permeate into my nostrils. My stomach grumbles. My mom looks at me. "Hi, Bita. Welcome home. I made you breakfast." Now, I have just been really nice and patient for the past 14 hours, and I do not have it in me anymore. I've been in my head calculating nurse math. For those that don't know, nurse math is the math nurses use when we're constantly looking at our watch, calculating the best way to get the job done most efficiently to maximize our time for rest. And right now, the one task that remains is giving my mom a bath. And I have calculated, if I do this now, I can get enough sleep before my next shift. So I'm not proud, but I shout at my mom, "Mom, can we take a shower now?" She looks up, startled. She stares at the stove in front of her, and then she looks at my dad. I know I have to act fast. You see, growing up as the youngest in my family, I've learned all the tricks, and this is my best one. I make my face extra pathetic, my eyes extra sad, and I plead, "Mom, I'm so exhausted." She looks at me, and I know I've got her. "Okay, Beta, 10 minutes. I slump to the ground to play with my dog, and I pull up my phone. I have so many messages from my friends that I have to get back to. I see the first one. A friend is on her honeymoon in Italy, sending me photos of pasta and wine. Great. Another friend sends me an update that her annual bonus just wasn't what she thought it was going to be, but there's always next year. I know I should have some sympathy or something inside of me, but my exhaustion is now rage. I look around me. This was not what I had imagined for my life in my 30s. I should be coming home to my own family, taking care of my husband and kids, or at least planning a trip to Italy. I don't even know what an annual bonus is. So I respond with some likes and comments, and I look at my watch. It's been way over 10 minutes. I'm mad. I pop up. "Mom!" She turns the stove off, finally, pours my dad's tea and breakfast, yes, and finally makes progress as she walks towards the stairs. "Okay, take me up." I look at the 20 stairs that she's pointing at. My mom just fell down these stairs and broke her hip. a few weeks ago. She just got back from rehab, not even a week ago. There was no way we were making it up there. So I look at her. Mom, that's not happening. Come, I want to show you something I made. Okay, side note here. I'm a first-generation daughter of immigrants. So growing up, the way we decorated our home was all about functionality and efficiency. Our walls were plain and bare to preserve the newness of the home. We just recently got the plastic off the couches, too. That was a good bonus. But my parents didn't really believe in decorating. We had the same furniture from the 80s, and if it wasn't glued back together, we covered it up with something and made it work. I, on the other hand, am a proper millennial. I grew up inspired by Martha Stewart living, and I couldn't wait to be an adult and decorate my home. So when my mom was in rehab, I knew I had my chance. I jumped at the opportunity to decorate the downstairs bathroom, which was bare. I spent way too much time and energy picking out the perfect, plush, trendy rug. I got the beaded, matching shower curtain. Hell, I had money. I splurged on the matching towels and candles. I put hooks for her robe and gowns, and I was really proud of myself. In fact, the hole in the wall, quite literally, my most rebellious act, was putting a hole in the wall with my own artwork. So, that was awesome. As my mom hobbles over with her walker, still not quite sure how to use it, I couldn't wait to show her. I turned the light on for this big reveal, and I hear a big gasp. What did you do in here? How much did this cost? Your dad's gonna... I was so disappointed. This is not how the big reveals happen on TV. How could you be so ungrateful? As she continues to scream at me and walk in, her walker gets stuck in the rug that I had picked out, and I realize my mom has a point. But I'm as stubborn as she is, so I'm not going to give in. I roll my eyes and tell her, Mom, just get in the shower and get undressed. She rolls her eyes right back at me as she wobbles to the bathroom. As she opens the shower curtain, she sees it. You see, I had to install one of those ugly hospital-grade plastic and metal shower chairs, and I tried my best to bedazzle it, but it didn't work. She stares at that chair, and her eyes drop. I know those eyes. It's the look of when your freedom gets snatched away from you. I know my mom can't believe that this is what her life is like either. She's only 60. Something inside me softens. I realize this is not a patient. This is my mom. I walk over to the bathroom and turn on the water. And as she gets undressed, still slowly from the surgery that she just had, I see her naked body. It's still covered in bruises and scars from her previous surgeries, and I can't help but picture her like a little baby. She looks so fragile and delicate. When the water warms up, I grab it. And maybe it's because I'm not wearing gloves, but as my hands touch her back, I'm instantly transformed. I'm in the hospital as a child while my mom bathes me in the sink for days. I'm transformed back to India where my mom's hands are rubbing my head when I had pneumonia for weeks. My mom's skin is so soft. It feels like whipped silken tofu that's soaked in a syrup of rose and cardamom. In fact, as the water hits her skin, I swear, the bathroom starts to smell like her. Smells of jasmine and orange and cloves and cinnamon and smells of home. I realize this is not the ICU. For the first time in many hours, my body relaxes. I hand my mom the shower bar. She looks at me with gratitude, and something in both of us shifts. Now her conversation goes from formalities to more important topics like, who's sleeping with who at work? And by the way, are there any cute single residents that like you yet? And as I look at my mom and answer her questions, she's very nosy, I grab her loofah and her Dove body wash. I, like the efficient immigrant daughter that I am, squirt out 2 efficient squirts and start lathering her. She grabs my hand. I laugh. You see, my mom sacrifices and gives to everyone. And she has to be really savvy everywhere. But for as long as I've known her, the shower was where she gave herself the biggest indulgence. And today was no different. So I grabbed that Dove body wash and I squeezed to her satisfaction, what ended up being over half of the bottle. Literally, there is soap falling to the ground in wasteful heaps. I hide my frustration and I go with it. This is her shower. And I start lathering her. I lather her underarms and under her breasts and under her other more intimate areas. And we're no longer mother-daughter. We've become friends. In fact, now that I'm over 30, my mom thinks of me as one of her girlfriends that she can tell one of her non-veg jokes to. If you don't know what that means in our culture, it's raunchy humor. The thing is, my mom's joke telling doesn't really ever get to the punchline. So she starts one of her infamous jokes that I've heard millions of times, not fully, of course. She's about 5 words in this time, which is progress, and her head pops back, her body starts convulsing, and she makes no noise. Don't worry, don't be alarmed. You see, my head is also thrown back, my body is also convulsing, and we are now exchanging in our shared signature mom-daughter silent cackle. It's the laugh that my mom and I share that I've inherited, proudly or not. It is what it is. And as both of us clutch our stomachs hard, laughing so much from nothing, I realize I haven't checked my watch because I don't really care what time it is anymore. Thank you.